What books do we have on the shelf here then? We have a history of Germany, the medical directory, Earl Grey, was that? Earl Casey. An art book, the science of economics, history of Germany again. Another history of Germany. I like the German history. Got it there as well. And a physics book. Let's do... Tanqueray 10. Samantha sat alone at a bar, taking occasional sips from a glass of gin. She wasn't sure that night was a night she really wanted to be drinking. Her accompanying familiarity with gin kept her raising a glass to her lips. The drink didn't sit well in her stomach, but each sip left her feeling warm, and each sip the knot in her stomach seemed to become less and less noticeable, and so she kept drinking. The green bottle had become something of a friend over the years, and with it she had a kind of friendship not born out of any sort of affection, so much as one of familiarity and convenience. Drinking the Tanqueray neat took her back to her first apartment she lived in after moving from her home town in New Mexico, to part of Melbourne that bordered with docks, the same apartment where she discovered that liquor was vastly cheaper when bought by the bottle than when bought by the glass in the setting of a bar, and where she learned that cinnamon and coriander gave her gin enough flavour from a need for mixers. The Tanqueray was her coming-of-age drink, and consequently she enjoyed a private relationship with it. Most of the alcohol she consumed in the past year had been on the job, but gin was something she kept hidden away at home for private moments when it was only her, a green bottle, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Samantha emptied the glass, and for a moment continued to hold the empty glass up to her mouth, looking down at her nose at the bottom of the glass, as if asking God for a sign that this was the time to stop drinking. She had no intention of stopping, but she figured out it was worth the everlasting chance of an interdict if she was transgressing by drinking so heavily. No divine intervention came to stop her from raising her hand to signal Maddy for another drink. There was a small throbbing inside her ears that seemed to think it was a bad idea, but she was sure that was a result of hearing damage and not the voice of God ringing in her ears. She was fairly certain she didn't believe in God, but something about her Catholic upbringing kept her occasionally checking it in just to confirm her suspicions that there wasn't anyone upstairs judging her on her hedonism. Still, if there was any time or place to question lack of belief in God, a cafe that seemed to exist in the borderland between life and death seemed as good a place as any to do it. Mother had told her it was only by the grace of God she walked the earth, so it wasn't the force of God that kept this cafe's doors open. It certainly was something otherworldly. Interesting. Something down under. Do we have anything there? No, I'm no longer a person or a coffee shop. Ashley's inventions. I can still do. Good. Unlock. Ashley's original ideas. Do not steal. Floor sweeper. The last experiment with a kitchen assistant version 1 was a big success. She made a success in how quickly it was able to pulverise things generally. But throwing objects at the ceiling technique does not work for pulverising carrots or salads, but it's very good at pulverising halogen lamp bulbs. This made me think of how much better it would have been if the floor was self-cleaning. Ashlings can sleep up a bit, but usually all they do is move dust around. It's hard to get them to actually collect debris and put them in the trash. The entire floor was covered in air jets. Any small bits of debris that dropped on the floor would get quickly whisked away towards a corner where a vacuum or something could suck them up with a disposable chute. Having a bunch of air jets would require a lot of power to run. But air isn't the only fluid that could be used to carry dirt and dust and broken shards of halogen lamp bulbs. Water could also probably do a trick. The issue is that water would damage the floor. Ripping up the wooden floorboards and pouring concrete would solve that problem, We could mould the concrete in a way that shape directed the water towards the drain from the floor. That would mean no more need to sweep. We just hose down the entire cafe at the end of the day, and it would drain itself. But it would be dry by morning. That's actually a really good idea. It doesn't require any special equipment or specialised hardware once the floor is installed. I should copyright it to make sure no one can steal it. Update. After several days of calling me Australian Copyright Council, I finally talked to a person who told me that what I wanted to cover mentions is a patent, not a copyright. Several more days of trying to contact the patent office, I saw that someone already used my idea. It is possible to sue someone for stealing your idea before you came up with it. Pretty unfair that I'm not able to patent an idea just because I'm too young to have any idea before someone else claimed it. Knife Retriever version 2. Previously, discarded the idea of using a large electromagnet to retrieve a knife that was lodged in the ceiling. My research has led me to believe that knife from the ceiling was actually stainless steel, which contains iron. Iron is a ferromagnetic, which is weird because you'd think that only ferro would be ferromagnetic, but I guess iron is too. Also, they were finding a gas-powered generator that can supply enough power to run an electromagnet for a short period of time, so I don't need to worry about the circuit breakers. It requires a lot of gas, but luckily the knife to get down only requires running the electromagnet for a short period of time. Created electromagnets by spooling power cable around a piece of iron. The good news is, the electromagnet is great at pulling knives out from where they are. The bad news is that it pulls all the knives from the drawers within a meter of it when I turned it on. Also, a knife from the ceiling wasn't affected because it was too far away. I looked up, and magnetic attraction follows an inverse cube law. I'm not sure what the opposite of a cube is. Maybe it's a sphere? The more I think about it, the more it makes sense the objects further away aren't pulled strongly by a magnet. The Bespoke 5000. After my lack of success of a Knife Retriever version 2, I asked Che for help and he lifted me up so I was able to pull the knife from the ceiling. He asked how long it's been up there. I said, not long. He said, more than a day? I said, I wasn't up for a day, which is technically true. I remember asking Che for help succeeded, but I think in the future there needs to be a way to automate this process of asking Che for help. To create a robot with speech capabilities that's capable of asking favours. Then I can have a robot ask for favours on my behalf. I think it's a good idea because usually when you ask someone for a favour, you owe them a favour afterwards. With a robot asking a favour, then the robot would owe the favour, not you. A person would ask a robot to do them a favour, and the robot would say, sorry, I'm only capable of talking to people, not doing tasks. When a person asks a robot to ask you for a favour, the robot would say, I'm sorry, my battery is running low, I want to self-destruct. It's expensive to build a new robot every time you have to ask for a favour. But it would be better than having to owe someone a bunch of favours after they helped you. Interesting thought process. Anything else in here? Not what I can see. Fatal Icarus, what do you do? No, I need Law, Ashley, and what's his face? So that's. Let's see what else we got upstairs and downstairs. Billiards needs people. I've already done a fisherman, I believe. What? I have not, but I don't have enough for it. No, I have done that. Advisory roll. Nope. His inbox, I'm pretty sure I've read. Yes. Fred Astor's journal. Judgment, Chase collection. I can now do. So death, I've got that and I got that. Unlock. Chase sat in the corner of a cafe with a book in his lap. His eyes danced over pages for several moments, and words on a page illuminated by a candle sat perched on the rest of his chair. And after several moments passed, he turned a page. He hadn't actually internalised any of the text on a page, nor had taken any of the text of the 50 preceding pages. He was vaguely aware of the fact that the book kept on referring to a man named Henry, who Che presumed was the protagonist of the book. Che didn't particularly mind this fact. In fact, if he started actually following the story that was told on the page of his book, he would actually consider it a great failure. Che enjoyed sitting around with a book. He enjoyed the platonic idea of reading. When it came to actually telling stories, he found books to be a poor substitute for a person sitting next to him. He didn't pick up books when he wanted to be told a story. He picked up books when he wanted to be alone, to situate in a comfy chair, basking in candlelight, sitting quite silently in a meditative state. He turned another page. "Hey," he said, a familiar voice interrupting him. "I'm ready for a book, Ned," said Che. If you hadn't noticed. That was the book's secondary function. It deterred people who might see a man sitting alone and seize the opportunity to start a conversation. A good book. I was enjoying being alone with it. Yeah, you look really engrossed. Sorry to interrupt, but I got a favour. Why is it always to ask a favour? Looking past Ned, speaking to no one particular, even though there was no one but Ned nearby to hear him speak again. Why is it never? Hey Che, I just wanted to stop by to offer you a favour. I did that one time. You said you were busy. You said you were busy, which I figured out your way of politely saying, please don't bother me with this kind of visit, so I stopped. Did you? I don't remember it. I'm sure you do remember it. So I'm back before you started forgetting things. Sometime around when did the war start? You have to be a lot more specific, said Che. You know, the war of the soldiers and the guns. Ah, that war. I did narrow it down a bit, didn't I? I'm not that old. Wars were fought with guns even when I was a young man. Same for you. Did they? Well, it was a war with him. Ned trailed off. He raised a hand to his face and flicked his helmet, mimicking the unmistakable ping of an M1 Garand. World War II? Which one was that? The one with Nazis. Sounds about right. Anyway, I came to ask a favour. I hope that favour was to spend a few minutes of your time having an inane conversation, but we already did that. My, but you're snippy today, said Ned. What's got into you? A good book's what's got into me. Sorry. I wanted to ask if it wasn't urgent. We need an interpreter. You speak Cantonese, right? Yes. Great. Can I steal you for a few hours? Not if it's to be an interpreter. Why not? You speak Cantonese, you seem fluent in English, so I would say no to specifically translating. Being an interpreter is not simply as being bilingual, Ned. Isn't it? I figured you'd hear things in one language and say them in another. Seems simple to me. Are you literate? A bit. Can you write a great work of literature? Nope. Well, there you go. There's more translating than being bilingual. Oh, come on. He actually does have a point there. I'm in a pinch. I'm not asking you to be a great interpreter. Just an adequate one. There are lots of bilingual people around. I'm sure you know other places to ask. Yeah, but, you know. I know you're not one kind of person to spill secrets. It's kind of conversation where I just want to be between me and one other person, you know? Great. Sounds like you need a professional interpreter. they're great at facilitating those kind of interactions. Come on. What can a professional interpreter do that you can't? A lot of things. But for one, a professional interpreter is someone you can count on to allow you to use their mouth to say incredibly stupid things, without letting you or your counterparty know just how stupid they find the interaction. Funny that. Always figures it's the kind of thing you'd be good at. Because I'm so good at holding my tongue. Yes, I've tried before. Being an interpreter pays well if you find yourself working with the right people. It leaves your hands a lot less calloused when doing some of the work I found myself doing instead. But you've noted my hands have calluses. Turns out holding your tongue is oftentimes harder than digging holes. Come on, you know how to be a diplomat. Fuck off. There, that was me being undiplomatic. Now, would you kindly find another solution to your problem, one that doesn't involve me performing a task I told you at least twice now that I'm not going to do? Ned started to say something, but stopped just short of making utterance and backed off. Hey, Maddy? No. I didn't ask you for anything yet. I know, I thought I'd save you time. What is it with you people? He turned towards Ned and glowered at him. You people. Ned raised his hands defensively. I just mean you two. You were birds of a feather in quite a few ways. Maddy stared at him, and Ned contemplated whether or not there was any way for him to make a statement grouping Maddy and Che together, without making himself look worse than he already did. He sighed in frustration. You know what your problem is? Yes. I know him quite well. It's standing right in front of me. Ooh. I think I'm going to be able to read anything else. I'm going to end this episode here. Yeah, definitely, almost certainly can't read a fisherman. No. So I'm going to save my game here. And continue next time. Bye bye.